I was hunting chassis number 210 for almost 4 or 5 years. And finally I knew it was somewhere in the UK, but I didn't know exactly where it was. So I found this guy in the UK which had a Spyker, and I asked him, do you perhaps know where chassis number 210 is? And he said, yeah, I bought it like 4 or 5 years ago. I dismantled it and I parked it somewhere in an industrial area. Yeah, I want to finish it, and I bought another wrecked car, and we want to make from two, we want to make one. After about 2 years, I convinced him that I would be the better guy to buy that chassis. So I bought the burnt down chassis, which had huge holes in it from the fire. Took the chassis home and we started to work. And why I wanted to make that Spyker, because that chassis number 210 is the only Spider with 4 exhausts. There are 3 white-blue MC12 livery ones, and this is one of the 3 MC12 livery Spykers. The gentleman had chassis number 210 and he purchased chassis number 44. 44 was the first right-hand drive La Violette. So very early La Violette. The idea was to take the burnt down chassis, which was completely mangled and because of the fire, and the idea was to put the CPP, the early production parts, on a very late Spyker. So chassis number 210 is one of the last ones, and 44 is the first one. So nothing would work. So he found out that the front clip wouldn't fit, the doors wouldn't fit. So that's why I think he failed and said, okay, this is too much for me, and he quit. So I bought the chassis from 210, didn't buy the rest. Years later I bought the rest of burnt parts and also the chassis number of chassis number 44. I didn't buy the chassis because the chassis of 44 was scrapped. Also, what is really cool about this one, and that's why I wanted to save it, because it's the only Spyker ever built without the quilted diamond stitch leather interior. This one has the striped interior, which makes it, let's say, unique. And what really is unique is that the diamond stitch was the option. So all the owners chose the option, except this one. He chose to have the base interior, but take all the other options. And that was really unique. So when I took the chassis on, I was debating in either I want to keep it as original as possible, like 100% original, or go crazy and do a wide body carbon fiber racer and make that street legal. My wife thought I was crazy when buying this chassis. I went to work and we quickly found out that there is a potential that we can make it 100% original. The closer we got, I found out that it was possible. So we went to the upholsterer. Based on all the pictures from the guys that made it during the process, we took the pictures and we exactly replicated how the leather was made, because the quilting diamond stitch is documented, but the stripes is not. So we needed to go back and look at how the stripes would work and how the stripes would align into the doors and in the sills. So that was quite a bit of work. And then we made this car within 1.5 years from a burned down chassis, which also needed to be rebuilt. So we only used the chassis number, and then we built everything ourselves in-house, from wiring loom to all the body panels to everything, even to the detail that I wanted to have the chassis number inside all the ECUs. So if you ever would go with your laptop in this car, it would state it was chassis number 210. And that's the most cool part that we did. So what happened is the Spyker left the factory and went to Germany. The owner had it for, I think, a few years. Didn't drive it that much, but one day he had the car serviced. Rumors have it that they changed the battery and they did something wrong there. It completely burned down while the owner had dinner in an Italian restaurant, and outside it completely burned down to the ground. My idea is that I want to go back to that place and make pictures in the same location when it's now, let's say, when there's like either it's 20 years ago or 15 years later. I want to make that same picture. It's now a driving car. It has 200 meters on the odometer because I never drive, because I always buy a project car and tell my wife that this is the one that I'm going to drive. Did it also with this one. I promised this is the one that I'm going to drive and enjoy. But then it's too perfect, and now it's again added to the collection, and I bought the next one to also do it. Will be my drive, but probably it also will be too good again. The paint was really a nightmare because it's a pearl white with an MC12 blue on the bottom. It's very important that you don't feel the paint lines. So the livery, I think you shouldn't feel. So they painted the car 10 times, so 10 layers of clear coat, sanded it back again, and then build up the layers that you don't feel the lines. The car was completely done, so the painter called me and said, Jasper, your car is painted flawlessly. The pearl is perfect, because if you paint pearl, you can only paint it one direction. He called me and said, Jasper, you can pick up the parts. And an hour later he called me, Jasper, something happened. One of my employees was sweeping the floor and knocked over one of your doors. And that meant complete mess up, and again started from scratch. And that was one of those things that happen. But you go over it, and it's go over it all again, and it's now done. I asked the first owner why he wanted that. So I was in contact with the guy from that was in the restaurant when it burned down. He was a race car driver, and he said he likes the lines and he likes how it looked. He was the first one that asked the factory to do it, and then Spyker made another two. So then he made another Spider and they made another double 12 in the same color scheme. The only thing that I did change, I like I said, I wanted to do it like 100% original or not. I didn't do that. So I did change the steering wheel, of course. I did do a periscope rear view mirror, and I did Bluetooth audio and wireless charging, and the rest is all original. So there's only a few things that I said, okay, I won't do that. Why I took this challenge was also to show myself and give me the next, let's say, challenge, and prove myself to the world that I can do everything with respect to rebuilding this car. Especially it took me to another level of manufacturing parts. It took me to a point that you need to make suspension parts. Usually suspension parts don't go bad. We usually make, let's say, shock absorbers, center caps, all those small parts or other parts that break. Maybe a seat frame will break. But we never at that point make suspension parts. And it took me to a point that you then need to engineer the suspension, get the same bushings as Spyker did. That's what triggered me to really go into the next level and have my team be able to really make a car from scratch. And that was the biggest challenge for my team, to again engineer everything. And that's why I can do this, because I have a lot of Spykers in my collection. So we took a part of another of my Spykers, copied that, reverse engineered everything, and then we were able to make suspension parts. We were able to make wiring looms, because this was also the first time that a wiring loom was not available, or they are Spyker specific. So that took us to the next point, that we build a complete wiring loom from scratch. And that was why I also want to purchase this project, because it triggers and gave us a next level task to do. And that's why I think for us, making body panels, making suspension parts, wiring loops took us to the next level.
Car Trek Week is finally here. On Friday at 10 a.m. here on VINwiki, Car Trek 11 will begin, and that is only possible because of Auto Tempest. This is a journey that started 11 series ago with this very car, thanks to Auto Tempest, the Gallardo, We've done 11 of these things, and I know that you're gonna love it. I think it's our best series yet. So that'll come on Friday, but right now, I want you to check out the link in the description below, because searching for your next car on Auto Tempest is the best way for you to thank them for their support of VINwiki and for bringing Car Trek back. So let us know what you found today on Auto Tempest, and check out Car Trek 11 on Friday.